Cheekyricho's oxtail stew cooked in the pressure cooker. Hi and welcome to Cheekyricho's oxtail stew. This delicious old-fashioned favourite uses a fairly cheap cut of meat which requires prolonged slow cooking. We will be using a pressure cooker to achieve this, and it'll be cooked in around an hour or so. It's a one-pot dinner, plenty of vegetables and aromatics, and the sweet succulent meat will just fall off the bone. The ingredients will be in the recipe box below. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is tip our flour into a plastic bag. I've showed you this method before. Minimal use of flour, no waste and no mess, provided you don't pull a hole in the bag, of course. In with our cracked pepper. And now we're going to trim off our oxtails. The ones that are lean can go straight into the bag, but we do not want to eat anything that's too fatty. So this big fatty pad here, we'll lose that. There'll be no opportunity to take this fat away once it starts to cook because the lid will be on and you don't want to cook that fat into the dish itself. So we'll just take as much of it away as we can. There's a lot of sinew in this. It's really quite, it's the discs in between the tailbones, I suppose. Okay, that's pretty good. Into the bag. Another lean one into the bag. Just lose this fat here. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, now we haven't got a lot of fat, which is waste here, but it is much better to be not included in the dish, so we'll just discard that. Now, this is a pressure cooker. For those of you unfamiliar with this method of cooking, you clamp the lid on and it has a little valve on the top of it. When it comes to the right temperature, this little valve here pops up and makes a sissing noise. It has a very good seal on the inside of it here, and you cannot remove this lid whilst this vessel is under pressure. It's a very fast method of cooking, retains all of the nutrients, reasonably energy efficient because you're using less power to cook the same amount of food, and it significantly reduces the cooking time on dishes that require long and slow cooking. So, in with our oil into our pressure cooker and our roughly chopped bacon. Now we're going to put that on the heat at the moment and just brown that bacon off and render some of the fat out of it to release its flavours. We're just going to stir this a little bit at the moment. You won't be able to stir this dish once everything's put in because you can't take the lid off. So we'll start off our browning and whatnot beforehand. Our bacon is losing some of its fat into the pan, and now we're going to give our oxtails a good shake. Coat them in the flour that we have in the bag and the pepper. It won't be completely coated, but it will certainly have a good basis for our gravy. So then you put the whole lot into the pan. Give it a bit of a turn around so that it's all in contact with the juices in the bottom and the oil in the bottom. So now heat back a little. We don't want that flour to burn this early in the cooking process. Now we throw in our sweet potato. A potato just cut into all chunks, peeled, cut into chunks. Our onion, our mushrooms, our stock cubes, bay leaves, our very roughly chopped garlic. That will sweat right down and will be invisible by the time the dish is cooked. Just give this a stir around. And then just our little chilli, seasonal, doesn't matter. Toss around. Our passata, which has herbs already in it. And water. Now that water is coloured because it's rinsed out the passata jar. Now it's just in with our red wine now. Now it's in with our just roughly chopped celery. There's a good stir around. A lot of these vegetables will actually release moisture from them, which will increase the moisture volume in the pan. Our little bell peppers. And now we're going to bring this to a gentle simmer, and then we're going to pop the lid on, increase the temperature, which will also increase the pressure, and cook it a little longer. So just bring that up to a simmer. Now you could cook this identical dish without the use of a pressure cooker, just in a saucepan on the stove top, but you'll be looking at probably 2 to 3 hours of cooking. but the method is identical. It's just starting to simmer. We're going to put our lid on, so you've got to line up little latches and then clip it around. It's physically impossible to remove the lid from the pressure cooker once it's been attached. Very soon this little button will pop up. This will swivel around and make a racket, and we'll turn the heat right down when that happens. We just have to bring it up to temperature at this stage. The little red guy starting to come up. Can you see him? There he goes. He's just popped up on his own. Now this little hat here, valve, I don't know what you call it, you turn it to the side, you can hear the steam and see the steam starting to get out of there. So we're going to turn that right down to low now. It will still maintain that pressure, and the heat within the vessel will tenderise and cook that meat to perfection. Now we're going to do it for about 50 minutes, and then we'll come back and check it out. Okay, after 50 minutes we are going to allow this steam to release. So turn the heat off, just be careful you don't burn yourself there. And when that little red guy pops back down, it'll be safe to take the lid off. You will not be able to lift the lid unless the steam has released and that little red guy has popped down. The steam is abating. Nearly. Okay, now we can take the lid off. And that's what you have. While it's still bubbly hot, we're going to give it a stir and throw in our frozen peas. So in they go. Give them a stir around. And our cabbage. And the residual heat, we'll cook those. It's a true one-pot dinner. You can see that this meat is just fork tender. It's just pulling off there really, really easily off the bone. It's very gelatinous. We're just going to give it another 10 minutes to wilt this cabbage down and finish off the cooking of our peas without the lid on. Okay, after our 10 minutes, our cabbage is sweated right down. You've still got pieces of meat, vegetables, everything's recognisable in a rich, hearty, delicious tasting broth. With some fresh crusty bread. Hello, winter. And there you have it, Cheekyricho's oxtail stew. If you'd like to see more interesting recipes and ideas, please check out my Cheekyricho channel. And don't forget to please subscribe. Do come back and visit us again soon. We have so much more to show you. And thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely day. Have a little try of this, shall we? I told you that meat would be tender. You don't need teeth for this, it's beautiful. Cheekyricho's oxtail stew cooked in the pressure cooker.